Why, hello folks. Many years ago, I created a video called How to Make Macaroni and Tomatoes That Actually Taste Good. Well, finally, right now, right here and right now, July of 2021, we are going to make part 2 of how to make macaroni and tomatoes that actually taste good.
Live for God Studio Productions.
This is Cooking with Brian, a cooking show with food that actually tastes great.
Okay folks, here's how you make it. First of all, for your ingredients, you must have 1 large can of diced tomatoes. I know in our first original video, we only had 1 small can of diced tomatoes, but in this new recipe, I am admitting fault. The more tomatoes you use, the better that it will taste. So today, in this recipe, we're going to use a large can of diced tomatoes, which is a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. It don't matter what name brand it is, whatever you like, whatever you can afford, whatever you like the taste of, that's what you want to use. You can even use your tomatoes out of your own garden. And you can always use more than what we are using in this recipe. But we are using 1 large can of diced tomatoes, and we are using Barilla elbow macaroni. We're going to use approximately 1/2 of this box, which would be around 1/2 pound of pasta noodles. Your other ingredients are garlic powder, oregano leaves, basil leaves, and onion powder. Notice we're not using salt stuff, you know, like onion salt, garlic salt. We're using powder. All right, folks, as you know, the very first thing that you must have in this recipe for it to be a success is you need a cup of coffee, folks. Because without coffee, we ain't doing squat today. Sorry. Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our tomatoes. Okay, folks, we're going to take our tomatoes, and you do not want to drain them. Just go ahead and dump them in the pan. That's 1 large can of diced tomatoes. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a little bit of water in here. You can use it right from the tap, or you can use some that's filtered if you like, if that's your choosing. Okay folks, we're going to go ahead and slap the burner on here. And we are not going to turn it real high, maybe about the 5 o'clock position to get it going. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to slap our spices in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 to 6 dashes of oregano leaves. About 6 dashes of basil. Now you can use more or less. It's all personal preferences on how many spices you're using. About 3 or 4 dashes of garlic. If you don't like garlic, you ain't gonna put it in there. If you like more, you can put more. Now onion powder, we use a lot. I use like 10 or even maybe 12 dashes in there. That'll give it very good flavor, folks. Go ahead and give it a whirl. Now we put a little bit of water in here because we're going to simmer this to get it to taste far better than just a cold can of tomatoes. We're going to let it simmer for, oh, I don't know, at least 30 minutes. You can do it for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever you think you need to do, but at least 30 minutes to get it to taste decent. 45 minutes would probably be a little better, but maybe you don't want to waste time, folks. Okay, folks, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some water in our pan. You could have used filtered water in this too if you're worried about, you know, poisons coming through your water lines. Okay, folks, once you get some water in your large pan, go ahead and slap some salt in there, maybe about 6 or 8 dashes. And you want to throw your burner on about the 5 o'clock position. And then once it starts to look like that the water's warm, turn it up to high. But don't do that starting off because it will get your pan too hot too fast and you end up with condensation on your pan and all that stuff and warp your pan and all that. So that's why I start at the 5 o'clock position. And then once you see the water is looking pretty warm, then you turn it up higher to get a roll boil going. Okay, folks, once again, this is a reminder that without coffee, we ain't going to be worth nothing today, folks. So make sure you got plenty of coffee. If you run out, go ahead and make some more, because this recipe works best, folks, if you have plenty of coffee.
I need thee every hour, most gracious Lord. No tender voice like thine can peace afford. Oh, I need thee, oh, I need thee. Every hour I need thee. Oh, blessed be now my Savior. I come to thee. I need thee every hour. Stay thou nearby. Temptations lose their power when thou art nigh. Oh, I need thee, oh, I need thee. Every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to
Hi, King Kong.
thee.
Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and turn this up to high on the water to get it boiling. And our tomatoes here, we're going to go ahead and turn it down to approximately the 7 o'clock position, because it don't need to simmer to boil. It just needs to simmer decently. Okay, folks, once you get a really good, when you get a really good roll boil, folks, we are going to go ahead and dump half of our box of these noodles in here. Not sure exactly what's half. We'll call that half. That's good enough. Because right now I'm just cooking these for just me to eat. because my wife don't like tomatoes. She don't like macaroni and tomatoes. It's like not liking John Wayne or something. The most important thing you can do, folks, is make sure you stir this quite oftenly for the first minute or two after you pour it in here. You notice we're on high. Leave it there for at least 2 to 3 minutes, folks. You want to make sure it regains a full boil. Make sure you stir this quite oftenly the first 2 or 3 minutes. After that, you just need occasional stirrings. Hi, wolf dog. Okay, folks, I forgot to mention you need to frequently stir this. Actually, you ain't gonna do it frequently, just occasional even. Now here is the secret. First of all, we got this boiling really good again. Once it boils again really good with the noodles in there, go ahead and turn it back down to the 5 o'clock position and continue to boil your noodles until it gets to the point to where you like the noodles. If you like raw noodles, don't cook it as long. If you like it cooked longer, go ahead. My recommendation is at the end of the hardness stage, once it looks like it's at the end of the hardness stage, go ahead and taste them on a plate to see if they're to the point to where you like them. If it's not quite good enough, cook it a little longer, maybe a couple minutes, and check it again or whatever. Do not cook it till it's mush. That's disgusting, folks. Okay, folks, here's my trade secret. Re-spicing. Once you get your noodles all in there and cooking, go ahead and re-spice your sauce one more time. This gives it an extra boost of flavor, folks. It'll make it taste much better if you re-spice a second time here. Okay, folks, this is my dog Princess. She loves her tummy rubbed. She's a good girl sometimes, not always, but sometimes she is. Okay, folks, your disclaimer for this lesson is if you hurt yourself, burn yourself, or others, if somebody kicks your butt because you made a mess in their kitchen, it's all your fault, folks. Anything bad that happens, you accept full responsibility. Anything good that happens, then I get all the credit for it, folks. Make sure you click like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Hopefully you'll find this recipe a blessing, folks. Make sure you had your coffee. Okay, folks, once that your noodles kind of looks like they're done, just go ahead and put some on a little plate and put a little bit of the broth from the tomatoes on there. Maybe put a little bit of salt on there. Taste it, see if it's to your likings. This is the chef's secret, folks. In my opinion, it's almost there, but not quite. So we're going to let it cook for just a couple more minutes, folks. Okay, folks, when the noodles are to your likings, go ahead and just drain all the water out of there with a strainer. Once you get it drained, go ahead and dump it back in your pan. Just like that, folks. Make sure you turn all your burners off. Go ahead and dump your tomatoes all in here. Make sure you do the dishes so your wife don't kick your butt, or your husband, or whoever it is that you're sharing residence with, or even visitors that are over, or whoever it is. Make sure you appease to them by doing your dishes. Take your trash out and all that good stuff, folks. Just go ahead and stir it good, folks. Give it a whirl. Okay, folks. Go ahead and serve yourself or your spouse or friends or whoever it is that you're feeding. This is the proper way to do it. Okay, here's a chef's secret, friends. You must use Blue Bonnet butter. And just so you know, Blue Bonnet contains no milk products in it, folks. So if you're lactose intolerant, Blue Bonnet can be eaten by you if you're lactose intolerant. And it tastes better than any other butter, in my opinion. Don't forget to add salt, folks. If you have high blood pressure and you have a heart attack, it's your fault, folks. You shouldn't have used salt. Anything bad that happens is your fault. Anything good that happens is my fault. Okay, folks. I hope that was a blessing to you. Make sure you fix more coffee if you drank it all. Make sure you give your friends some coffee too. If you happen to burn yourself, it's your fault, not my fault, folks. We'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.